Mornings with Mitch Elliott on 1019 KINK. Independent, Portland.
It's 1019 KINK. Mitch Elliott here. Super excited to welcome to the show Dave Grohl.
What's happening, Mitch?
Well, Dave, like most everybody else, just, I'm hanging in there, just trying to get through this thing one day at a time, enjoying a little cold December rain here in Portland.
Hey, all right, get the lawn chair out.
Yeah, get the lawn chair out. So, Dave, I think I read you're spending the lockdown, or at least part of it, in Hawaii.
Yeah, I thankfully and fortunately, I've spent a few of these lockdowns here, but sort of unexpectedly or inadvertently. Like in March, I brought my kid. I've been coming down to here for 15 years, and I brought the kids down here for their spring break, and I wound up staying for 3.5 months.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, it was just like, okay, well, everything's closed at home. Might as well just kind of, hang out here for a little bit. And then recently brought everybody down for Thanksgiving, and then everything shut down at home. I was like, well, I guess we might as well just kind of hang out here for a little bit. So it's beautiful, but it is strange. I feel far away from home. I mean,
yeah.
It's beautiful here, and it's a great place to sort of breathe clean air in the sunshine. But I don't know, I feel removed and kind of far away from home. It's weird.
What island are you on?
I'm on the Big Island.
Yeah, I was there last Thanksgiving. Yeah, there are worse places to be right now.
Yeah.
So, Dave, I'm assuming your 3 daughters are doing school online. Is that accurate?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, fortunately, they don't turn to me for any help with their schoolwork because they know I'm a high school dropout that became a rap musician.
But your mom taught public school for many years, right?
She did. My mother was a public school teacher for 35 years. I mean, both of my parents were brilliant, romantic intellectuals. My father was the conservative parent. He was actually a Republican speechwriter in Washington, D.C. He was a journalist that moved the family to Washington, D.C. in the early 70s so that he could write for Scripps Howard. And then he became a freelance speechwriter. And, he's a pretty conservative guy that was also like a classically trained flautist and loved jazz and had a great appreciation for art. Oh, he was an incredible dude. He really was. He was so brilliant and funny, but then he also, and conservative, but then he also had this sort of this really beautiful artistic side to him. And then my mother, she was a school teacher. She was my liberal parent. She had to teach, train wrecks like me for 35 years. And so, both of them were brilliant writers and storytellers and public speakers, both of them. I was just a terrible student. I didn't work within that environment. It didn't work for me.
But I love that even though your mom was a school teacher for 3+ decades, when you told your mom, I'm not sure if you were able to tell your dad, but when you told your mom you wanted to pursue music seriously, she was all for it.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I did tell my dad, and he was not all for it. but my mother, having, spent time with generations of kids that may or may not have fit into the conventional public school system, she understood, okay, you're probably better off going out into the world and discovering yourself there. And I think I was 17 or 18 years old, and I had the opportunity to go on tour with this local punk rock band in Virginia, just outside of Washington, D.C. And I started traveling the world, and I was incredibly happy. And actually, my mother wrote a book about being a mother of a musician. She interviewed 15 or 20 different famous musicians' mothers, and we all have the same sort of parallel path. Whether it's Zach Brown or Dr. Dre or Pharrell or Miranda Lambert, all of us kind of followed the same thing. And the one element that made it all work was a parent that wanted their child to be free and happy and to be themselves.
I love that so much. My guest is Dave Grohl. Let's talk about the new Foo Fighters album. It's your 10th, coming out early next year, right?
That's planned. I believe it's February 5th.
That's what I'm hearing. It's called Medicine at Midnight, and the first single is out. It's called Shame, Shame, and it's fantastic.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, it's a trip because it's really unlike anything we've ever done, which is why we wanted everyone to hear that first. I mean, it's our 10th album after 25 years of being a band. You know, the last thing we wanted to do was go in and make an album that was full of My Heroes or Best of Yous or Everlongs or Learn to Fly. So it was like, okay, well, let's do let's kind of explore a territory we've never really been in, you know. So, and all of us have grown up loving like groove-oriented sort of rock bands or just bands that played music that made you want to move.
Yeah.
And after recording a few songs, we stumbled upon this Shame thing, and when we played it back, it was like, okay, this is another 25 years. This is something we've never done. And we were really excited about it. The rest of the record the whole album doesn't sound like that song, but that song definitely has a place on the album as something that we've just never done before.
Let's talk about the video for the song Shame, Shame. It's spooky, it's sexy, it's beautiful. And I read it's based partly on a dream you had when you were just like 13 or 14.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I've always been an incredibly vivid dreamer, like lucid dreaming, where you actually know that you're dreaming, but you can function within the dream without waking up.
I've heard you can train your body to be a lucid dreamer. I have not been successful.
I've read a book on it. Someone gave me this book, which I think was written for people who have kind of like traumatic recurring dreams. And if you practice, it works. You can do it. You can't do it every time. But anyway, I had this dream when I was like 14 years old that I was standing at the bottom of this hill at night, and there was a coffin on fire at the top. So I went running up to the coffin to save whoever or whatever was in it, but I couldn't touch it because it was burning my hands.
Ugh.
I woke up just thinking like, oh my God, what was that all about? And I still, to this day, I can picture it in my mind. I vividly remember that dream. And as I was writing this song, I thought, oh my God, I think I'm writing a song about that dream I had when I was 14 years old. So it only made sense to pair that image with the song for the video. And the director is a genius. Her name is Paula Kodaki. She'd never made a music video before.
Oh my gosh.
And Sophia Boutella, the woman that's in the video.
She's just fantastic.
She's a force of nature, dude. Like, she honestly, like, she's, not only is she just like physically empowering and intimidating and just a striking physical presence, but like what she's able to do physically with her body, it's insane. She's truly a badass.
Like I said, it's sexy, it's spooky, it's beautiful, it's a fantastic video, and the song is just awesome. I just love the song. I only got a couple minutes left with you. You guys were able to have a little fun this year. You were the musical guest on SNL a couple weeks ago. Of course, you killed it. And I read an interesting stat. I read it on Wikipedia, so it's got to be true, that you, Dave, personally have been a musical guest 14 times since 1992, more than any other musician.
Yeah, it's true.
That must be such a fun experience.
Here's the thing. As a kid, Saturday Night Live was my favorite show.
Me too, still to this day.
Not because of the sketch comedy, not just because of the sketch comedy, but because of the music as well. So
yes.
The first time I saw the B-52s, Saturday Night Live.
Yes.
The first time I saw Devo or Peter Tosh or like I discovered so much music from Saturday Night Live that when I first got on the show with Nirvana in like 1992, oh my God, it was Valhalla. I was like, oh my God, this tiny studio, this is where all of my musical memories come from. Like, oh my God. And then, over the years, getting to do it over and over again, it's like, it never wears thin. That feeling never goes away. You walk in there and it's hallowed ground,
Yeah.
So this time and usually when you're asked to do it, it takes like months and months of preparation. It's phone calls between Lorne and the manager and the label and then you finally get the call. Okay, we got Saturday Night Live, and everybody freaks out. This time they called on Tuesday.
Oh my gosh!
They were like, "Do you want to play Saturday Night Live?" We're like, "Well, of course."
Oh, gee, thanks. You had 4 whole days to prepare.
No, I mean, I think. Well, Dave Chappelle as the host, first of all, talk about the stars aligning and everything coming together. It's like to share the stage with Dave Chappelle, who we all respect and love, and it's such a brilliant dude and such a genuine dude, such a easy hang. He's just the coolest guy in the world, and he's an important voice in American culture. You know, he really is. To be on the show with him, and then wake up that morning and they've called the election.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, the energy in that room was electric. It was insane.
Yeah, you could feel it.
To be honest, it was the first time I'd ever done the show and not been a nervous wreck.
Interesting.
I think everybody just kind of like strutted into the studio like, oh, God, this feels good. It was good.
I have 30 seconds left before I let you go. Do you happen to remember one of Foo Fighters' very first official shows, in front of a decent-sized audience at least? It happened at a small venue here in Portland called Satyricon back in March of 1995. Any recollection?
I absolutely remember that. I think that was that might have been our first official paying gig. Okay, I think we played at this like loft party before that, and maybe at some weird bar in Arcata, California. But that was like our first serious gig, and I remember we played that show with the presidents of the United States of America.
Yes.
Who? Right? Okay. And I remember thinking like, oh my God, this is going to be amazing. We're playing with the presidents. This is going to be cool. Dude, they smoked us so hard. They were amazing. We had to go on after them. I'm like, oh, crap.
Uh-oh.
Like, we just got our asses handed to us by the presidents, man. Oh, my God. But I absolutely remember that show. It's still to this day.
Wow.
I went to a lot of shows at Satyricon. I loved that place. It was great.
Little hole in the wall in Old Town Portland, but yeah. Dave Grohl, thank you so much for taking the time. Stay healthy. I know why everybody calls you the nicest man in rock and roll. You truly are.
Thank you very much. I can't wait to see everybody, man. We'll be there soon.
Awesome. Stay safe, my friend.
All right, you too.
See ya.